A consultation session was held with Upper Corentyne farmers to discuss a request for the construction of an airstrip to facilitate aerial spraying of crops. More details from Narima Ali.
The Upper Corentyne rice farmers met with the Minister of Public Works, Bishop Juan Ejil, in the presence of the Minister of Agriculture, Mr. Zulfikar Mustafa, and the Minister of Finance, Dr. Ashni Singh, at the number 36 primary school along the Corentyne coast to have a consultation session. This session was facilitated upon a request by the Nanprasad and Company Limited to construct an airstrip in the area to facilitate aerial spraying of fertilizers and other treatments. Minister Ejil highlighted the following concerns.
In terms of the security considerations, that is something that will have to be determined by the Defense Board. But from a cursory look, the airstrip is visible to the eyes from the Corentyne highway. So any plane landing and taking off is seen by everybody who lives in the area. It's not an airstrip in the backlands or in a remote area. It's visible for the community to see. And I believe with the police and the army and the intelligence community to ensure that only legal use, that should not be much of a big challenge. But we want to ensure, number one, the farmers want it to benefit what they're doing, because we're opening up new lands as well. And number two, we want to ensure that the residents, the people who live in this area, they have no objections.
Mr. Mohindra Prasad, the CEO of Nanprasad and Company Limited, noted that the shortage of the human labor force has caused the production process to be prolonged.
The workers refuse to work with the farmer. The reason for that is the journey, because of the mud, to go down to Baghdad, they may work 1 day, 2 days, and the third day they slip away from you and make life very difficult for farmers. So sometimes farmers can't spray in time, sometimes they can't throw the fertilizer on time because they have to wait for the workers. Or if there's a wedding, that goes on for 3-4 days. So the farmer has to wait for the turn. And it creates an inconvenience for the farmer, and it reduces the production because rice are very short life. And everything you do should be done on the specific date. And for that reason, we realized that we should start the process of an airstrip. We started about 6 years ago, and we expect very soon, to have that permission so we can close in this gap and this deficiency in farming.
Several farmers stood in support with Mr. Prasad for the construction of an airstrip.
This is I want to support Prasad and companies in this airstrip venture. I think it's a very good initiative. It will bring great relief to farmers, especially in conditions like what we are facing now. And I think they have been experimenting before with some other airline coming away from Gov't, and it costs a lot of money. But the airstrip just here and the center of Region 6, it will bring great relief to farmers.
As I stand here, I plow and make my rice plan. See, actually on industrial level, but we cannot get into the field because of the heavy water, and we will hire the plane to broadcast our rice. The entire field is 274. About 80% of the people will not plant because of the heavy water and the rain. So the airstrip will be a very convenient to us on a long term and also short term.
Get 300 acres at 5 days, and then I walk on the shine manure and spray. And every time I go something rain, walk man I want to come with, and I walk, and I make money bad weather, and I want to walk. So if the airstrip should start working now, it benefits the farmers.
And with all the EPA and other measures that will be put in, I am sure Nanprasad as a ISO standard company will adhere to what is necessary so that the safety of his neighbors, because he's from 36 village, will be adhered to. I stand here in full support of such a venture.
This farmer was also in support of the construction of an airstrip, but he raised this concern.
So you have to be careful what drugs is spraying on this area. Because remember the background breeze blown out, the breeze of over the drugs road. And that's just about a mile. Some places just 3/4 miles, some places 1.5 miles. So you have to be very careful what kind of drugs you're using on the front area especially. So when you have a problem, the airstrip is not a problem, but the drug will spray the front area. That's a problem.
Minister Edgehill responded by disclosing these details.
Big issue here is if the airstrip will serve a purpose. Because if the EPA says you could operate, but you could only begin spraying 5 miles from this particular line and at this height, and they go contrary to that, then they will be sanctioned. You understand?
Yeah.
It's not a one-off, you get permission and then you use land to yourself to do what you want. You operate within rules.
Okay, sir.
And those rules are to protect people and to protect Ghana's future.
Also present at the consultation session were the regional officials, members from the Civil Aviation Commission, and members from the various agricultural departments. Narima Ali, Channel 8 News.